What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to talk about Charliey Weinert and Ed GunBoat Smith. Now, Charliey Weinert is to your right, Ed GunBoat Smith is to your left. They called Weinert the Newark Adonis. He would reside in Newark, New Jersey, but he was born October 22nd, 1911 in Budapest, Hungary. Very interesting. He died May 1st, 1969. He was 73 years of age at the time of his death, and he would reside in Newark, New Jersey. He stood 5'11". He was a heavyweight and had a total bout career. At 52 fights, 41 wins, 27 knockouts. He lost 10 fights, and he was stopped 8 times. Fought from 1911 to 1929. Fought fighters such as Freddie Kilbert, Cilla White, Ed GunBoat Smith. Fought him 3 times, the fighter we're talking about today. 2 wins and 1 draw. Porky Dan Flynn. Billy Misk, 1 win, 1 loss. The Boston Garb, Jack Sharkey. Jack Sharkey became heavyweight champion in 1932 when he defeated Max Schmeling. And he fought Boston Garb, Jack Sharkey twice, and he lost to him twice. Louis Angel Firpo lost to him August 13th, 1923 at Shire Park, Philadelphia. Found himself in the ring with Harry Greb 3 times. Lost twice, 1 draw. November 4th, 1921, fought him. And Greb was very dirty that fight. And Charliey was bloody, soaked with blood. He was dropped 4 times. No way he could win that fight. But he gutted it out, and unfortunately for him, he just couldn't handle Harry Greb's aggression. But he was in the ring with Gene Tunney. 2 losses. New York, Madison Square Garden, 3rd round knockout, November 29th, 1922. And the Boot Athletic Club, Newark, New Jersey, 12-round loss to Gene Tunney. Was in the ring with Al Roberts, 1 win, 1 loss. And he's not talked about that often, but I wanted to exploit him to you because he's a pretty decent fighter. He was in it with very good names. But he was somewhat of a club fighter, if you will. When you take a look at Ed GunBoat Smith to your left. His name was Edward J. Smith, spelled it S-M-Y-T-H. Was born February 17th, 1887, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Died August 6, 1974. He was 87 years of age at the time of his death, and he would reside in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He stood 6 foot 2 inches, and he had a 72-inch reach. He was a heavyweight. Had total bouts of 90 fights, 52 wins, 38 knockouts, 28 losses, and he was stopped 12 times himself. And he had 10 draws. But see, the thing with Ed GunBoat Smith, he was in there with everyone. No, he wasn't the greatest fighter. No, he didn't have a whole lot of wins, but he had a whole lot of fights. And he was in there with fighters such as Sam Langford, and he would defeat Sam Langford. Jack Twin Sullivan, have a draw with him. Fireman Jim Flynn, he would defeat Fireman Jim Flynn. Lee Anderson he lost to. Lee Anderson would become the colored light heavyweight champion. Bob Martin, who's the AEF heavyweight champion, America's Expeditionary Forces. And he would lose to Bob Martin. Bob Roper, who would defeat him, and he would have a draw with him. Bill Tate lost to him. Billy Miss lost to him twice. Leo Florian Hawk, very good fighter, lost to him. Clay Turner, he was an Indian, pretty decent heavyweight. Frank Moran, very good fight with Frank Moran. Defeated him twice. Kid Norfolk lost to him twice. Bill Tate defeated him. He was in the ring with Cleve Hawkins. He would defeat Cleve Hawkins. Carl Morris lost to him. And Jack Dillon, who was a giant killer. Not a bad fighter with these 2 men. And I just wanted to acknowledge them. Because the fighters that I talk about, whether they're okay fighters or they're your top-notch fighters, they're all fighters. They're in there with very, very good fighters themselves. Take a look at Charliey Weinert and Ed GunBoat Smith. Dig a little deeper into their career, and you'll see they were in there with some very good fighters. And I just wanted to acknowledge them. Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Salute to Ed GunBoat Smith. Salute to Charliey Weinert. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Peace.